When it comes to Hell's Kitchen, I don't think most casual viewers would label a chef as an underdog when describing their character. I mean, this isn't a show like Survivor, where players are obviously edited to be the underdog that the audience is supposed to get behind. I mean, all Hell's Kitchen contestants do is cook. How do they become underdogs? Well, whether it's because they have very little kitchen experience, or simply never give up no matter how hard Hell's Kitchen gets, certain chefs throughout the years have absolutely earned their underdog label. What's going on, guys? I'm FlynnMasters, and today, we'll be looking at the greatest underdogs in Hell's Kitchen history. These chefs definitely weren't perfect during their time on Hell's Kitchen, but their will and determination despite everything going against them makes them stand out from their competition. Before we begin, if you love Hell's Kitchen, then please be sure to smash that like and subscribe button, as we're trying to build a great HK community here on this channel, and every little bit of support helps. With all that said, let's take a look at some of the greatest underdogs to ever step foot in Hell's Kitchen.
Bloody hell, here I go again.
I say it's only fitting that we start off with the first ever underdog in the show's history, and that is Elsie Ramos from Hell's Kitchen Season 1. For those of you that don't know, for the first couple seasons of Hell's Kitchen, not all the contestants were actual pro chefs. Elsie was one of those people, as she literally had no experience cooking in a professional kitchen, and her job occupation was mother of 6. I think it's fair to say that cooking for your kids is much different than cooking for Gordon Ramsay. However, Elsie this season proved that you don't need to be an executive chef, or heck, have much experience at all in the kitchen, to make a good impression on Chef Ramsay. Elsie was nowhere near perfect, but she had extreme heart and determination, and was in fact named the first ever Best of the Worst in Hell's Kitchen. Also, when she was nominated at the final 7, she stayed over Chris, the only executive chef this season, proving to the audience that Chef Ramsay didn't care about the chef status. He cared about what he saw with his own eyes, and one could not deny Elsie's potential she had shown compared to Chris. While she ultimately fell just short of the finale, she touched the hearts of millions, and even touched the heart of Gordon Ramsay.
You've come a long way. And for a woman that's never spent an hour in a professional kitchen, you impressed me. And behind that, you touched my heart.
Thank you, Chef. Appreciate it.
Keep smiling.
Well,
You light up the place when you smile. Elsie, I'm proud of you.
thank you.
While we're on this topic, I want to give an honorable mention to Julia from Season 3, who had a very similar arc to Elise. And while Julia did have kitchen experience as a Waffle House cook, nobody could have ever expected her to hang with the executive and sous chefs of Season 3. But she also made it all the way to the Final 4, and her performance was so impressive this season that Chef Ramsay gave her his own personal reward.
Listen, you have done phenomenally well. And I'm going to do something now that I've never done before. I am personally going to send you to culinary school because you have an exceptional amount of talent. I am very proud of you.
Thank you.
Oh, Jesus.
Now that we've talked about old school underdogs, I think it's now time we talk about the most recent underdog of Hell's Kitchen. When taking one look at Nikki Hanna from Hell's Kitchen Season 19, not many would think of her as a chef, much less someone who could survive the brutal environment of Hell's Kitchen. Yet, despite her appearance and lack of experience compared to the other chefs this season who had been cooking longer than she had been alive, Nikki made it all the way to the final 6 of this season, which, keep in mind, is even more impressive considering the fact that Season 19 is the second most talented group of chefs in the show's history, and I could easily see Nikki making it to the Final 4 in most other seasons. As expected, Nikki started off slow, nearly going home night 1, and her team put her up for elimination as the prototypical weak link after the red team's first loss. However, after this slow start, Nikki rised and shined this season, and noticeably got better every single service, and she was an absolute standout in the challenges. Unfortunately, she became a casualty of the BS Cook for Your Life Black Jacket twist at the Final 6, but despite not making it to the Black Jackets, the fact that Nikki was able to stand out so much despite competing against some insanely good competition was something to behold, and just one of the many things that makes Season 19 such a great season.
I have not gone to culinary school.
I'm so sorry, right behind.
I actually have only been in the field for about 2 years, but I've picked up as much as humanly possible in that short amount of time. I'll prevail. It's going to be good.
At number 3 is a chef who had such an amazing comeback in Hell's Kitchen that Gordon himself considered it the greatest comeback in Hell's Kitchen history, and that chef is Tennille from Season 6. Tennille had a lot going against her in the early stages of Season 6. She struggled big time out the gate, thus resulting in getting put up for nomination in episodes 2 and 3, and it even looked like for a second she would be an early boot, as she was literally about to take her jacket off.
Tennille, come here. Listen to me.
Yeah, Chef.
Wake up big time. Back in line.
Yes, Chef.
Despite this insanely lucky break, Tennille still wasn't perfect, as she was nominated for the 3rd time at the red team's next nomination, but luckily it was voided. However, the following episode, after Tennille once again screwed up, it looked like Ramsay was finally fed up with her and laid it into her. However, Tennille, being the fighter that she was, didn't hold back.
Cause you're crap! You're crap! I'm sick of his man! Let me do my job!
Don't you dare turn around and tell me that I'm crap.
You know I'm
or you off through those doors. That's
You
right.
can dish it, but you can't take it!
Believe it or not, Tennille's determination to get back into the kitchen despite everything kept her from being nominated that night. But still, she struggled all season, Liddy looked to be a goner at one point, and even got into it with Chef Ramsay. She can't be long for this competition at this point. Well, after her argument with Ramsay, it was almost like Tennille flipped a switch, as she not only improved immensely the rest of the season, but she literally became a frontrunner to win season 6, despite going up against the likes of Ariel, Kevin, and Dave, 3 of the greatest chefs in the show's history. Unfortunately, after a miserable night at the Final Four, Tennille was an obvious goner, but Chef Ramsay used this time to praise her insane underdog run in Hell's Kitchen.
I am so proud of you. You fought back like I've never ever seen anybody in Hell's Kitchen fight back. And you are an amazing competitor. The greatest comeback. You never forget that.
No way.
Head up high.
Always, chef.
If you would have told me in the early parts of season 11 that Mary would go on to make it to the finale, I would have laughed in your face. This was a woman who I thought was simply casted to be an easy target for Chef Ramsay due to her voice and lack of real cooking experience on the line, given that she was a butcher. And that looked to be the case early on, as Mary was nominated in 3 of the first 5 elimination ceremonies, and only survived the 3rd one due to the dumb probation twist. So, at the final 15, Mary had been put up 3 times, was saved by a dumb twist, and was arguably the weakest chef in the entire competition at that point. There's no way she can last too much longer. Well, Mary wouldn't just make it farther than anyone could have ever imagined, but she absolutely dominated the rest of season 11, having multiple standout performances, absolutely destroyed the Final Four pass, and kicked out Dan during the final dinner service, the first time a chef had ever done this. Unfortunately for Mary, Janelle had simply proven to be the better all-around chef that season, but you can't deny the heart shown by Mary, as she went from a prototypical early boot to nearly winning Hell's Kitchen.
I've been nominated for elimination 3 times. I have no more chances left. I'm locking.
Mary,
Yes, chef.
that beautifully cooked.
Beautiful.
Service, please.
Mary's made a full, 180. She's really coming into her own right now.
Even though I didn't win, I'm still a winner, and Hell's Kitchen has completely transformed who I am as a chef. It's bye-bye Mary the Butcher and hello Mary the Chef.
Most underdogs in Hell's Kitchen usually have a pretty similar trajectory. They're able to scratch and claw their way to the Black Jackets, but ultimately, their flaws are simply too much to overlook, and the chefs who are much more dominant go on to make it to the finale over the underdog. In fact, I would argue that there's only been one true underdog winner, and boy, is his right to the top a crazy one. In my opinion, the greatest underdog in Hell's Kitchen history is the winner of season 12, Scott Commings. The funny thing is, just taking one look at Scott, you wouldn't think of him as an underdog, as he was a 36-year-old executive chef with plenty of experience. I think it's fair to say that Chef Ramsay would expect more from him than someone like Nikki or Elsie, but Scott battled back non-stop in season 12, and no matter how bad it looked, he kept on fighting, and in the end, it led him to that $250,000 prize, along with a head chef position at Gordon Ramsay Pub and Grill in Caesar's Palace. Scott started the season okay-ish, as his signature dish was awful. He had a mistake here and there, but overall, he didn't stand out due to all the other terrible early boots of season 12. His flaws really started the show though around the mid-season, where he was put up for elimination at the final 14 and 11, and was even nominated by a couple of his teammates at the final 12 for being the weakest chef on the blue team. At the final 10, he was switched to the red team, where again, he had his fair share of mistakes, but it was never truly anything terrible. However, at the final 7, he objectively had a terrible service, but was luckily bailed out by Gabriel having an even worse performance, and thus was able to sneak his way into the Black Jackets. Okay, this story seems all too familiar. The underdogs scratched and clawed their way to the Black Jackets, and will be going home shortly after. While Scott was able to survive the final 6 round due to Keisha simply not being ready to be a head chef, he had nowhere to hide at the final 5. Melanie, Jason, Rochelle, and Joy had been stellar all season, and it would take an absolute miracle for Scott to survive this round.
I'm done.
You're done.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Boy, stop.
I'm done with it.
Again, say what you will about Scott getting extremely lucky by Joy's quit and Gabriel's meltdown, but at the end of the day, no matter how he did it, he made it to the final 4. And the final 4 and finale are of course the time to shine, as Ramsay doesn't really care about the past. He's now looking for a leader. And let's just say Scott would prove himself as a leader in the most dominant of ways, as he would go on to have the best past and finale performance of all time, leading to the wildest win in Hell's Kitchen history.
Entrees, 1 halibut, 2 salmon, 1 chicken. Order in.
2 halibut, 1 salmon.
1 halibut, 2 salmon, 1 chicken.
You got it, boss.
Thank you.
Excellent. Finally, his voice.
Let's go, let's go. Stop, stop. Jessica.
Yeah.
Go.
No, please
Go. Don't talk to me anymore. I want you out. Go.
You are the biggest comeback chef in the history of this competition, let me tell you. And tonight, you proved that on running the hot plate. You did a great job.
Thank you so much, Chef.
Scott won tonight because there's all the qualities I'm looking for in a head chef. He is passionate, determined, and a true leader.
There's no doubt in my mind that he's got a great career ahead of him.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and Hell's Kitchen, then remember to smash that like and subscribe button and leave a comment down below of your favorite underdog in Hell's Kitchen and other underdogs you would have added to my list. With all that said, take care everyone, and I'll see you next time.
Get out of here.